Another quick tip from one of our customers to show you how you can get the most out of OrgChartHub and HubSpot. Mario is going to talk just in a second and use a real life example, but the feature that he's referencing is this functionality in the top right hand corner. So this is not so obvious, which is why I'm going to highlight it. This searches across the whole of your CRM. So this is really useful if you want to put someone onto the chart that is either a partner or, in Mario's case, put yourself onto the chart and then map the relationships with the key decision makers. So, for example, I can search for myself, add myself onto the chart as an individual, and then start to map the relationships in between the key individuals in this particular buying group. We hope this helps. Now over to Mario.
We actually use OrgChartHub in several different ways, but two things that come to mind is, number one, we do relationship mapping from internal to external. And number two, this allows us to be able to really identify the personas of each individual buyer. We subscribe to the Miller-Hyman methodology, if you would. So we're able to figure out and start mapping essentially our technical buyer, our economic buyer, our user buyer, those that are the financial buyer, as an example. So we've done this inside of OrgChartHub. And what I'd love to do is show you how we've done this. Okay, so here's an example of one of our customer org charts. Now, I realize this is a big giant eyesore and you really can't see anything other than a bunch of boxes on the screen. However, you can see that we thoroughly vetted this enterprise customer out. And what we've done is we've taken the time to build out the different buyers in the organization from our main point of buyer, which is the sales line of business, and then we've got our financial buyer, and then we've got the marketing buyer. In all cases, you can see that we've built out this entire sales organizational chart, and then here's over here is the marketing organizational chart. In terms of mapping, I first want to show you this from the bird's eye view. You can see my boxes over here, and then this is one of our representatives over here. And what we've done is we've actually taken the time, what we've done is we actually taken the time to take our positions and map them. You can see these little lines as I mouse over them, map them to the individual key buyers that we've got inside of the organization. Now, obviously, I don't have every single one of these things mapped, and all of my rep as well doesn't have everybody mapped. But this, what it helps us to do is understand who are we missing. For example, if we have a neutral buyer or influencer or a financial buyer, as you can see, we've identified that in green. If we've got that financial buyer, then we're missing a relationship line over to these financial buyers. So it helps us at a bird's eye view to be able to figure out where do we need to focus our attention at, and how do we further develop a sales strategy. The other thing that we have, and I'll zoom in here, is if you look at any one of these and you click on them, you can actually see our sales persona setup. So inside of the blue is what we call a coach or a champion. Our economic buyer I mentioned was in green, somebody that is a potential buyer or and somehow influence the decision, their position as being neutral. We've got technical buyer, we've got a user buyer, and we've also got blockers in the account. So anybody that shows up in red, hey, that's bad. And from a bird's eye view, if I zoom back out, you can see in this account, we've only got one person in red. And so the key here in terms of developing sales strategy, when you meet with your sales reps, is look at those that are in red, focus on that. Look at those that are in green, the economic buyer, focus in on that. Then leverage your coach, which are those, in our case, blue, to help you neutralize at least those that are red, and or help you build relationships with those that you need to get to that are in green. Listen, why do we recommend OrgChartHub? First off, HubSpot generally has adapted to the smaller business sales team. But just because you're a small business sales team does not mean that you can't have enterprise-like selling. And what we want to be thinking about is how to take the ability from OrgChartHub and integrate that into our sales process. When you marry those two things together, yes, you have technology and a tool, and yes, it requires you to actually do something with that tool, but now you can start developing enterprise-like strategies to penetrate even the smallest of small accounts or the largest of large accounts like you saw in our demo.